Hello, hello, hello! What's up, my home slices? Why did I call you that? Anyway, welcome back to the Crime Collection, whether you're watching it here on YouTube or here on wherever you get your podcasts. Hello, my name's Krista. What is good? Yep. Anyway, one day I won't be so awkward. Today's not that day, but one day I won't be so awkward and it'll be pretty normal to watch. Or listen. I don't know. Yep. Anyway, today I thought we would go find another case that I didn't know of personally until I did some research. And this is the case of Juana Barraza. I really hope I'm saying her name right. Juana Barraza. She's an awful person anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But for the sake of getting information right and not getting hashtag canceled because I don't know how to speak. Yes. This is the case of the old lady killer. That is her name. Can you guess what she got convicted for? You'll never guess. Anyway, so let's get started. Juana Barraza was born in Hidalgo, Mexico, which that's like the rural part of Mexico City. Don't know if you've ever been there. If you're there, Mexico, shout out to you. Hello. She never learned how to read or write beyond like the simple stuff in like her own name. So really college graduate over here. Her mother was said to be an alcoholic woman who even went to the extent of trying to exchange her daughter for 3 beers so that this random man could trigger warning, rape her multiple times. So because of this abuse that was happening, this is how she became pregnant with her first child, and she gave birth to her first son through this. She then went on to have 4 children in total, but sadly her eldest son died at a young age, well, a young man more so, from injuries received when muggers attacked him with a baseball bat. Her second child, who was a girl, married early and left home, and she did stay close to her mother's, they called it a modest ground floor rented flat, which was located on the very eastern edge of Mexico City. Barraza lived there with her youngest 2 children, who was a boy with the age of 13 and a girl of the age of 11. They now live with their elder sister, unless they've moved out because they're like close to being adults by now, because this took place around like the early 2000s, so they're most likely adult people. But anyway, according to her lawyer, the accused, so Barraza, she claims that she is very proud to say that she has kept things going on her own. She is proud of being both a father and a mother to her children. So she's pretty proud of her role as a parent. But it's, from all accounts, it seems like Barraza supported her family through the mixture of domestic work, street vending, and petty theft. Which also weird is that neighbors, where she lived was largely like a middle class, they described the children as friendly, and their mother, Juana Barraza, was pleasant and passing. So it's pretty interesting. Like, you know, you see that in other cases too, where it's like a double life. Like, I know, you see Ted Bundy and everyone's like, oh, so charming. And then you see like the side of him that's like a vicious murderer and you're like, oh, okay. Or BTK, he had a whole family. Oh, he was a great, I'm pretty sure it was BTK that had like a whole family and kids, and his wife was like, what? So I think it definitely is possible to be a good mother while still being an awful person. So a little bit more about Juana Barraza is that she is also known as a professional masked wrestler in Mexico. She performed under the name of La Dama del Silencio, which is roughly translated to the Lady of Silence. And she occasionally wrestled in minor events at the amateur circuit. So, if you like that, what is it, the Mexican wrestling, is that, am I allowed to call it that? I don't know what it's actually called. Oh, I do know, Lucha Libre. So, because I have it written in my notes. But anyway, she had an obsession with Lucha Libre, which is a form of Mexican masked professional wrestling in which the wrestlers engage in titanic mock battles. I actually, weirdly enough, me and my brother had like the masks. I don't remember of who. I want to say Nacho Libre, but I know that's from a Jack Black movie. But regardless, me and my brother used to have masks of Lucha Libre. But anyway, enough about that, and let's get to the fun murderous part. Around midday on January 25th in Mexico City, 48-year-old single mother Juana Barraza, as we know, crazy old lady killer, approached an elderly woman whose name was Ana Maria de los Reyes Alfaro. I really hope I pronounced her name right. There's a lot of names in there. She, sadly, for some reason, this breaks my heart so bad. Like, so bad. She was 82. This poor woman went her whole life, chilling, being an old lady, doing her old lady things, probably picking stuff in a garden, watching TV, knitting, I don't know, baking, being a grandma, normal old lady things. 82 years old. She deserved to live out her life however the hell she wanted, to die peacefully from old age. Like, this woman deserved all of that, and instead, 82 years old. This is what happens. Barraza was seen entering her house and asking for a glass of water. Once she was inside, Barraza picked up a stethoscope that had happened to be lying on the living room table and used it to strangle 82-year-old Ana Maria de los Reyes Alfaro. I just want to backtrack a little bit just to reiterate and make sure, because I feel like I didn't explain this like the way I really wanted to get my point across. That Juana Barraza was the one that approached the elderly woman, Ana Maria de los Reyes Alfaro. She was the one that approached her, and then when she entered her house, she saw a stethoscope of the 82-year-old woman. Statement still stands. Have no idea why she had a stethoscope just chilling in her house, but she did. And Barraza used it to her advantage. But luckily enough, however, the lodger of this house, so like the landlord, I'm gonna guess it was like a landlord situation, he actually saw Barraza coming out of the house, and when he walked into the house, he found Ana Maria dead on the ground. So automatically, hopefully she's the number one suspect, and it's like a cut and dry situation. Oops, we found her, moving on, goes to jail, spend the rest of her life in jail. Justice for 82-year-old sweet woman. I'm sure she was sweet as heck. Old women are, grandmas and old ladies are either the sweetest people in the world or the meanest people in the world. So for the sake of her, I'm gonna at least tell myself she was a really sweet old lady. Although it might make me feel better if she was awful, but I don't want to say that about her. R.I.P. But alas, everything has to be complicated and nothing can just be cut and dry. Case closed. Because that would not make for good content, I guess. Guess that's the only good thing that comes out of it, is interesting content to teach everyone something. So, the search, also, I have no idea if y'all can hear this, but if you can, I'm gonna guess it's like cool ambiance is that it's raining really hard outside. Because there's like a hashtag tropical storm going on. So if you hear that, you're welcome for the ambiance. And if you can't, just know it's there and I have cool ambiance. Okay. So the search for Barraza was actually extremely complicated by so much conflicting evidence in this case. At one point, the police thought that 2 killers might have been involved. Then another odd coincidence happened that distracted investigation even more, and that was that 3 of Barraza's victims actually owned the same print of an 18th century painting by the French artist Jean-Baptiste Greuze. I have no idea if that was even close to their name. Jean-Baptiste Greuze. I honestly, even if that's not how you say it, I kind of really like the way I said it, and so that's his new name. I like it a lot better. It gives it some spice. I don't know. Why are you here? I don't know how you're enjoying this. Maybe you are. I'm gonna pretend like you are because I'm gonna keep going. But the painting was called Boy in a Red Waistcoat. If you're watching me on YouTube, I will put a picture up right here. If you're not listening to me on YouTube, just go check out my Twitter or Instagram called The Crime Collection, because I will post it on there as well. Minus the self-promo, let's keep going. So, Bernardo Batti. There's these names. I know it's like, I'm a little white girl and this is why I can't pronounce them. But Bernardo Batti's, I don't know how else you'd say that. He was the chief prosecutor in Mexico City, who initially profiled the killer as having, quote, a brilliant mind, being quite clever and careful. So, probably, it was also said that they probably struck after a period spent gaining the trust of the intended victim, which actually is probably really true, and months were spent detaining and questioning transgender people because they thought that maybe, we'll get into this later, more details of this, because that's insane, but the authorities were heavily criticized by the media for dismissing evidence that the serial killer was at work in Mexico City as merely, quote, media sensationalism as late as the summer of 2005. Which is really annoying that, I swear, authorities need to get their ish together. Everywhere, literally everywhere, there's issues. Soon after settling an investigation in motion, soon after the investigation was in motion, the police received even more criticism by launching what one journalist described as, quote, ham-fisted and an unproductive swoop on Mexico City's transgender sex workers. By November 2005, the Mexican authorities were reporting witness statements to the effect that the killer wore women's clothing to gain access into the victims' apartments. Nobody looked twice at Barraza because she had neatly short-cut hair and straight-laced street clothes. So I guess no one thought she was worthy of being I don't know. In one case, a large woman in a red blouse was seen leaving the home of a murdered woman. AKA, moving back to what I had said before, it was the lodger and what you would call a landlord, I think is what they meant by that. He had seen her walking out, but at the time it was just, a large woman in a red blouse left the home. 2 months later, which is also really weird, and I couldn't find any more information other than this, but police actually had long suspected that the culprit got into the victims' homes by pretending to be a government employee that would help sign them up for welfare programs, which is so disgusting to know that these poor old women needed help and needed to get into the welfare system. I don't know. Obviously every murder is disgusting, but I just can't imagine. Here's a little old woman who obviously needs your help and you're using it to your advantage to hurt them. That's so disgusting. Also, sorry if you can hear my chair. I'm really sorry. Gonna try to get a new one just so that's because I just know that's really annoying and I can't stop moving. I'm really sorry. I'm getting off topic. So we're gonna move on. To the surprise of many Mexicans or Latinos, who had suspected that the killer was a male, the suspect was detained as Juana Barraza, who was 48 at the time, and the female wrestler, as we said. She was arrested in 2006 in January and was dubbed the Mata Viejitas, the little old lady killer. I'm just gonna call it the little old lady killer and stop getting myself in trouble for not knowing how to say these. Mexico City prosecutors said that the fingerprint evidence linked Barraza to at least 10 murders and as many as 40 murders that were attributed to the killer. The wrestler is said to have confessed to murdering Alfaro, the 82-year-old woman who we talked about before, and 3 other women, but denied involvement in all the other killings that she was linked to. She had told reporters that she had just visited Alfaro's home in search of laundry work. Sorry, my camera decided to die, and it's probably going to die again because I wanted to finish this video as fast as possible. The news of Barraza's arrest spread really fast, and the local press that had dubbed the name the Little Old Lady Killer had finally been caught. Since 2003, the Old Lady Killer has been linked to 32 murders in Mexico City. All of these victims were elderly women who were usually strangled with cables, which is really upsetting. Yes, it was usually strangled with cables, scarves, or stockings. So take your pick, ladies and gentlemen. So, moving on to the trial and verdict. Barraza was Barraza was tried in the spring of 2008. The prosecution had alleged that she had been responsible for as many as 40 deaths. She only admitted to the one murder, that of Alfaro, and she told the police that her motive was the lingering resentment regarding her own mother's treatment of her. Because moving back to her childhood, she had tried to get rid of her, or she did get rid of her and sold her for 3 beers so that men could indeed do very horrendous things to her, which led her to being a mother. So, on March 31st, She was found guilty of 16 charges of murder and aggravated burglary, including 11 separate counts of murder. Because of this, she was sentenced to 759 years in prison. In case you did not know, sentences imposed in Mexican courts are generally served concurrently, but the maximum sentence under Mexican law is 60 years. But because she was charged with 759 years, she will most certainly serve the rest of her life in prison and serve the full sentence, I guess. Well, let me fix this. Or until she dies, realistically. But if this woman lives to serve 759 years in prison, that's pretty impressive, and I will give that to her. I will give her the one props to live that long. That's really impressive. Teach me her ways. The judge heard evidence that Barraza, who was 50 now, cruised public places in search of elderly women on their own. She sometimes gained their trust and access into their homes by helping with their shopping bags and requesting cleaning work, aka she had said she requested laundry work. On other occasions, she pretended to be a nurse or a social worker who was offering free checkup information about benefits of welfare and stuff like that. The prosecution said Barraza used objects like phone cables, tights, or the stethoscope that was used to strangle her victims, as we said before. Barraza claims, and I quote, "I only killed the one old lady, not the others." Barraza also told the court on her first appearance in February that it isn't right to pin the others on me. When she was asked to reveal her motive, she simply said, "I got angry." Well, honey, I get angry. I don't murder little old ladies. I'll go even further at that. At my mother. I've gotten mad at my mother before. Guess what? Didn't murder anyone, especially not old ladies. Get a better motive. Anyway, the Barraza also showed little emotion as she heard the verdict. Are you surprised? Because I'm not. Anyone who can murder anyone, especially a little old fragile lady. Ladies, not gonna have too much empathy. Okay, I fixed it. I didn't know why it was so zoomed in. It's because I accidentally zoomed it in when I plugged it back in. Okay, moving on. She said, in quote, "May God forgive you and not forget me," she said, adding that she would appeal against all but one of the convictions. She had only confessed to killing the 82-year-old woman, Alfaro. So, to end it off, I guess, since there's no good way to end these things off, Miguel Ontiveros, who was a criminologist that was associated with the case, along with other profilers, believed that she killed elderly women to try and release the rage that she had harbored against her alcoholic mother, who, like we said, gave her away at the age of 12 to a man who abused her and, you know, got her pregnant and all that jazz. Also, they said within this context, Barraza's own relationship with her 4 children, by the way, since I don't think I mentioned this before, all fathers were from 3 different people, so 3 different fathers of the 4 kids, and they say, everyone from, like we said, all accounts say that they seem remarkably stable for that family. I don't know how that's possible, other than, like we said before, people have separate sides to them, and maybe the mother and stable family, like she wanted to give her kids a stable family like she didn't have, but in return I guess she couldn't completely get rid of the resentment, so instead she had to take it out on little old poor sweet ladies. I'm so sorry, sweet little ladies. That makes me so sad. All these cases make me sad. And now that I'm gonna do this every week, I'm just gonna gonna be sad every week, so excited. Hopefully you're also excited. But thank you for either watching or listening, or either way supporting. Thank you very much for everything. Thank you. If you enjoyed this or see the potential in what this could be, or you just want to support because you're great and my best friend, hey best friend, make sure you subscribe to anywhere you listen to podcasts and on my YouTube channel. It's called The Crime Collection. One more time. My name is Krista Corson. If you want to find me anywhere else, I also do my own YouTube videos. And you can find me on Instagram. Anything you want. I'm an open book. So yeah, thanks so much. This has been another podcast, YouTube video, extravaganza. Bye.